Jada is back at it here to give everyone my Walking Dead Season 11 death predictions video, as we've just finished watching The Walking Dead Season 10, finishing with the finale, the bonus episode finale, Here's Negan, and now it's time to think about who may die in the final season of The Walking Dead, which will be The Walking Dead Season 11, to air at some point starting in the summer of 2021. It'll be 24 episodes, and it will spawn a bunch of spin-off shows, and that I have to factor in with certain characters if I think they're going to die or not. So let's start the list off. I'm going to include a lot of characters that have been on The Walking Dead that we haven't really found what happened to them. So I'll include these characters in this video in case they do randomly show up. So let's start this long list off with the main character of The Walking Dead, at least back in the day, and that would be Rick Grimes. If Rick does make an appearance in the final season of The Walking Dead, which I don't think he will, if he makes an appearance, it'll be a voice appearance. He'll be on a walkie-talkie or something like that. With that in mind, if he does make an appearance somehow, some way, and they lied about being in his final episode, I think there is a 0% chance that Rick Grimes would die in the final season of The Walking Dead. If Rick dies, it'll be in the Rick Grimes movies. Michonne. I do think Michonne will make an appearance in the final season of The Walking Dead. I don't know how big of an appearance it'll be. It might be a very quick cameo, or maybe she'll show up in the final episode of The Walking Dead. With that in mind, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Michonne dies, so I'm going to give it a 0% chance that Michonne would die in the final season of The Walking Dead. She's obviously going to be saved for the Rick Grimes movies whenever they randomly happen, or at least one of them. I don't know how many they're still going to have. They were going to have 3, maybe it's down to 2, I don't know. Morgan, obviously The Walking Dead show started with Morgan and Rick. I think Morgan realistically could show up on the final season of The Walking Dead. With that in mind, I don't think there's a chance in hell that they kill Morgan off in the final season of The Walking Dead. Maybe save his death if he does ever die for like the Rick Grimes movie or some other thing. But I don't think Morgan is going to die in the final season of The Walking Dead. Dwight. So Dwight's an interesting one. It's possible Dwight. If Morgan shows up, then you're going to get a lot of fear characters. And since Dwight's already been on the regular Walking Dead show, I don't think there's a big % chance that Dwight would die, but I think if he does show up, there's a small chance that Dwight could die, so I'm going to give it a 10% chance that he dies in the final season of The Walking Dead. Next up, we have Sherry, Dwight's wife, and I think same thing for Dwight if she does show up, which is likely if Dwight and Morgan show up. I think there's a very small chance that Sherry could die. I'm going to give it a 10% chance that Sherry dies in the final season of The Walking Dead if she shows up. Next up, we have Heath. We haven't seen Heath since the Season 7, Episode 6 Swear episode, where Tara met the Oceanside people. Unless you want to count Michonne's final episode, 10-13, where we used old footage of Heath to make Michonne a savior and kill Glenn and Heath. With that said, I don't think Heath will be in the final season of The Walking Dead. Actually, I don't even think he'll be in anything Walking Dead related again, as it just too much time has gone by. If he does show up, I don't think there's a chance that he dies, but we may see him in the Rick Grimes movies, but I think it's unlikely that we will. And if he does show up, he won't die in the final season of The Walking Dead, so 0% chance. Jadis/Ann. So this is a character that I don't like at all. Probably my least favorite character in the history of The Walking Dead. With that said, if Jadis does show up in the final season of The Walking Dead, I think there's a 100% chance that Jadis does die. Which I don't think she'll show up. I think we'll see Jadis for sure in the Rick Grimes movies, and I think that's when she will die. I'm not sure which one, but I do believe Jadis at some point will die, just because we're not really supposed to like her character. She does shady shit all the time, and then she'll do something to be nice, but then she'll turn shady again. Like, there's a lot of mystery with that particular character, but I think if she does show up in the final season of The Walking Dead, she's a goner, and I will celebrate that moment if it happens. Next up, we have Georgie. We haven't seen Georgie since The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 12, The Key, when she gave the book called The Key to Maggie. And we've heard about her, but we haven't seen her since. I think if she does show up, which is a really good possibility, she is in the final season of The Walking Dead, I do think that Georgie dies, maybe of old age, maybe she gets bitten. I'm not sure how it exactly will happen, but if she does make an appearance, I do think that she will die, and Maggie will kind of take over that role of going to different communities and trying to help them rebuild and restructure. So Georgie, 100% chance if she shows up. And her 2 people that were with her, I don't remember their names, so I didn't even include them on the list. Next up is Leah. We saw Leah in The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 18, one of the bonus episodes. And I'm pretty sure we will see Leah in the Season 11 final season of The Walking Dead. With that said, I do think Leah does die just because Daryl and Carol are supposed to go off on their own. And I don't think Leah would be a part of that. That would piss Carol off because deep down, Carol is obsessed with Daryl, I believe. And who knows what'll happen, though. But I think if Leah does make an appearance, she does die. It only makes sense to me. So I'll give her a 100% chance that she's going to die. Maybe that's too high. Maybe I should go 50-50, but I'm going to say 100%. Next up will be Ezekiel. Obviously, Ezekiel has the cancer that he's dealing with right now. And I do believe he'll be cured of that. I think that they will get that fixed at the Commonwealth. But I do think there's a 50% chance that Ezekiel will still die in some sort of battle or to get bit or something like that. But he won't die of the cancer. I could be wrong, but I'm going to say Ezekiel is 50% chance. Eugene. Eugene's been on The Walking Dead since Season 4 of The Walking Dead. He's had a pretty good run as a character. I don't really think Eugene will die, but I say there's a chance due to it being the final season of The Walking Dead. And at the moment, I don't see any future spin-off show that takes place in the future that Eugene would be a part of. Maybe like a flashback show like Tales from The Walking Dead where we see Eugene, Abraham, and Rosita before they joined Rick's group. But I think Eugene has a small 10% chance that he may die. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But I'll put a chance of it just because. Stephanie. So Stephanie, I'm not sure what group she's with, if she's going to be with Commonwealth or not. We haven't actually seen Stephanie yet. We've heard her. I don't think there's a chance that she dies just because it wouldn't make sense. We'll just meet the character, assuming she's in Season 11 of The Walking Dead. I would have thought she would have been in at least one of the bonus episodes, but she wasn't. So I think there's a 0% chance that Stephanie dies just because of that fact. And then other members of the Commonwealth, the only person that I think I know is confirmed is Mercer. I don't know enough about those characters to make an opinion of them, and I only know one character. So at the halfway point of Season 8, or if they do like 3 separate like breaks, or 2 breaks and then 8 episodes break, 8 episodes break, and then another 8 episodes, I'll do another updated Death Predictions video at that time to include some Commonwealth members once we know more about them and know who exactly will be in it. If it'll be Pamela Newton. Pamela, is it Newton? I don't remember even the names of the characters now, but we shall see. But next up we have Himiko. I don't think Himiko's going to die. I think she's too important of a character, although she's not important yet. But I think they're working their way up to have her be an important character, especially at the Commonwealth. Possibly as a judge is what I've seen or heard. I don't know for sure, though, but I'll say a 0% chance that Himiko dies. Although I don't really see a Walking Dead spin-off show that she would be featured in. But I'm going to say 0% chance. Princess. Well, we had to watch the clusterfuck Princess episode of The Walking Dead, and that was episode 20 of Season 10, the bonus episode. It was pretty interesting. Princess is a very interesting character, but I didn't like the episode. With that said, I don't think they're going to kill her character off because she's just too new, and a lot of people probably do like her because she's funny at times, but I don't think there's a chance that she dies. So I'm going to say 0% chance for Princess just because of that. Next up, we have Marco. Marco is a kind of a back character of the Hilltop. We don't really see a lot from Marco. I mean, he's there, but he doesn't have a solid role in the show, but he still is alive from what I know. And I'd say there's a 10% chance that Marco gets killed, but we don't really see a lot of him. So typically they like to give us more of the character if they're going to kill him off. And Marco just hasn't gotten that time yet. He's not even really credited with the show that much. If he is, he's like way down. He is probably credited, but he's very bottom of the people that are credited on The Walking Dead. So I don't think Marco is going to die. But I'll say there's a 10% chance because they need to kill a bunch of characters off because it is the final season of The Walking Dead. So next up is Cal, otherwise known as Discount Glenn. We actually haven't seen Cal since Season 9. And I like Cal as a character. He doesn't get a lot of time like Marco. I don't think they're going to kill Cal off by any means. I don't even know if he'll be in the final season of The Walking Dead. I find it weird that he wasn't featured on season 10 of The Walking Dead. But 0% chance for Cal, but I do hope that he shows up again in The Walking Dead. We got some Oceanside people to talk about. We have Rachel, the one that signed the charter. Is it the Charter of Rights? I'm just rewatching those episodes now, and I don't remember what the specific thing was called. I don't think Rachel dies. I used to always say the Oceanside people were going to die, but we just don't have enough time with them, and that would make another person that signed the charter died. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tara, for now, will be the only one that's dead because of that, and I think Rachel somehow, some way is going to survive just because she's hardly featured on the show. If she was going to die, she would have died in her Certain Doom, the original season 10 finale. Cindy is the first person that we met from the Oceanside. She's the one that saved Tara, and then had her moments with her aunt, I believe, Natasha. And I don't think Cindy's going to die. I used to always say Cindy and Rachel were going to die because they're Oceanside people, and the Oceanside members don't really get a lot of time. But I don't think we're going to see Cindy killed off because she's been on the show too long, but we really don't. She isn't really featured anymore. Like, she originally was featured a lot, and she was only in one episode of the season 10, I believe the premiere. That's the only episode she was on. So I don't think Cindy's going to die. It could happen, but at the moment, due to her lack of being featured all of a sudden, I don't think it's going to happen. So 0% chance for Cindy. Next up, we have Virgil. I don't really like Virgil's character yet. I would have preferred at the end of season 10 of The Walking Dead, the Certain Doom episode, which was originally going to be the finale, when Connie was struggling. I wish it would have been Morgan on that horse. I think that would have been more sense. Would have been a better epic scene than to have Virgil. We don't really know a lot about Virgil. We know he's not all there, but we know he does good but does bad. I think actually Virgil will die in The Walking Dead season 11. I don't know how, but I just think that, like, nobody really cares about him, so they'll just kill him off. So I'm going to say 100% chance for Virgil. Although he could be like Father Gabriel and like get redeemed a lot and be like a badass character, but I don't think it's going to happen. So 100% chance for Virgil. Next up, we have Dog. Now, Dog has been featured quite a bit, especially in these bonus episodes of The Walking Dead, and I really do think Dog will die. It's kind of split, yes or no. I will say 50% chance that Dog will die. Maybe it has something to do with Leah when she comes back, assuming she does. But I do think there's a high probability that Dog will die in the final season of The Walking Dead. Just a hunch. Next up is Birdie. Birdie's kind of a character that's in the background. She doesn't get featured a lot. I do believe that she's a member of the council at Alexandria. But again, it's a character that's a background character. She says a couple things here and there. With that said, since we know a little, or we see a little bit of her every once in a while, I think if they gave her like an episode where she did a lot, she might die in the very next episode. So I'm going to say 50% chance that Birdie does meet her demise in season 11 of The Walking Dead. Next up, we have Herschel Jr., Maggie's adorable son, Maggie and Glenn's adorable son. 0% chance if they kill Herschel Jr., that will not be good. Herschel Jr. is going to stay on the show. I think they're going to do like a Walking Dead kids show where we have Judith, RJ, Herschel Jr., Gracie, and all the kids, Coco, do like a show with themselves in it. Maybe when they're older, I could see that happening. So Herschel Jr. definitely not going to die at all. RJ, I mean, it's Rick and Michonne's son, and I don't think RJ's going to die. I could see RJ die, but I don't think it makes any sense at all. So I'm going to say 0% chance for RJ as well, because I think they're going to do that Walking Dead kids show, or maybe a teenager show when they're grown up and stuff. So RJ, 0% chance to die. Coco, I don't think Coco's going to die. Again, 0% chance. I do think they're leaning towards a Walking Dead kids show. Gracie, well, since Gracie isn't actually a blood relative of any member on the show currently, unless it's Negan's kid, I don't think Gracie's going to die. But you know what? I'll give Gracie a small percentage chance just because of the fact that she's not a blood relative of anybody. She's Aaron's daughter, but not Aaron's blood daughter. So I'm going to say 10% chance that Gracie dies, especially if there's like a time skip and she's a little bit older, but I don't think it's going to happen. So Gracie, I'll give a 10% chance. Lydia, Lydia at the end of season 10, I thought Lydia was going to die, but with what she did with Carol and all that stuff, I think there's a 0% chance that Lydia dies. In fact, Lydia has now moved up to one of my favorite active characters on The Walking Dead from that particular moment. because I didn't really like Lydia before, but she's worn on me a little bit. So Lydia, 0% chance. Although I could see it happen possibly, but the chances are very low, like 1%, 2%. So I'm just gonna say 0%. Judith Grimes, or Judith Walsh, if you really want to be specific, Shane's daughter or Rick's daughter, whatever you want to call her. If Judith dies, that would be a travesty. So 0% chance. Don't think Judith's going to die. Wouldn't make any sense. Judith is awesome. And let's move on. Cole. This is the member of Maggie's group that Maggie is with now with Elijah. I think Cole is Maggie's new love interest, although it hasn't been confirmed yet. And I think he will be on the show through the whole season. I think there's a 0% chance that Cole will die. With that said, I could see it happening, though. But just in my mind, it doesn't make sense to kill him off. Because that would be another... Especially if there's a romantic interest with Maggie and Cole. That would be another person that Maggie sees die. She already saw Herschel die. Herschel, her father. She already saw Beth die. She already saw Glenn die. If she has a romantic interest with Cole, then that would really crush Maggie. And she saw Rick supposedly die. We know that's not the case, though. Elijah. I don't think Elijah dies. He's too talented. He's too crazy of a ninja, and I like Elijah's character. We don't know a lot about him yet, but I sense we'll know a lot. And, of course, him and Kelly have this thing going on. So I'm going to say 0% chance for Elijah. Next up, one of our main characters, we have Maggie. Maggie Rhee, or Maggie Green, whatever you want to call her. 0% chance. Maggie's not dying. Maggie's going to be like the leader of the show, and I don't think Maggie dies at all. If Maggie were to die, I would be shocked. She's been on the show since season 2. Took some brief time off in between season 9 and season 10, but she's been on every season at least one time since season 2 of The Walking Dead. So Maggie, 0% chance to meet her demise. Next up, we have Gage. Gage hasn't been on the show since the season 10 premiere, and he was very integral with Henry's character. You know, him, Rodney, and Addie. Of course, Rodney and Addie were on the Pikes, and Gage, you thought he was going to die, and he didn't, and all of a sudden he didn't show up anymore. He was on the premiere of season 10, and we haven't seen him since. With that said, assuming Gage does show up again, I think Gage will die. 100% sure. I don't know why. I just saying 100% because his character, we didn't really like him all that much. Next up, we have Father Gabriel. Father Gabriel is really evolved as a character. In my opinion, better than Carol, which Carol has evolved quite a bit too, but Father Gabriel was hated. I couldn't stand him. And then all of a sudden, towards the middle of season 6, he started getting better. And now, instead of wanting Father Gabriel to die at the season 10 original finale of Certain Doom, I thought Gabriel was a goner, and then he got saved by Elijah and Maggie and Aaron. I don't think Father Gabriel's going to die. I think they're going to keep him alive. But there is a chance that Father Gabriel dies. I'm going to give it a 10% chance that Father Gabriel dies. Probably, you know what? Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to say 25% chance. I don't want him to die. I like his character too much now, but I think there's a small chance that he will die in the final season of The Walking Dead. Let's hope not, though. Next up, we have Rosita. I think for sure Gabriel or Rosita will die. So with that said, if I'm only giving Father Gabriel a 25% chance to die, I think the likelihood of Rosita dying is much more probable. I'm going to give it a 60% chance that Rosita dies. I don't want Rosita to die, but she hasn't really done much lately. And, she was more of a focal point in season 7. And then she kind of dropped off in season 8 and a little bit in season 9, but didn't do as much except for with Eugene and the Whisper thing. So I think her 60% chance she could die. I hope not, but I think her or Gabriel will die. So Rosita might be gone. Well, let's hope not, though. I hope they both live. The couple itself doesn't really make sense to me, but it is what it is. Scott. I always predict Scott to die. He never dies. With that said, it's the final season of The Walking Dead, and my percent chance that Scott dies is 0% chance. I always pick him to die, and he doesn't really get a big role. He has a couple lines here and there, but he just kind of stays in the background enough. He was Michonne's kind of bodyguard after DJ died, and now DJ's gone, and Scott's there. I would normally say he would die at 50%, but at this point, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say 0. Also, the next character, same with Scott, Diane. Diane was a Hilltop member, or a Kingdom member, then she went to the Hilltop. She's kind of like Maggie's bodyguard to a certain degree. She's good with the bow and arrow. And normally I would predict Diane to die along with Scott. At this point, 0% chance. I think they might elevate those two characters to not main cast members, but important characters. And I just think, you can't have everybody die. And I've already, speculated a couple of characters dying, so you got to keep a lot of other people around. So, strangely enough, I'm going Scott and Diane, 0% chance. Now they'll die. Typical. Next up, we have a lot of people's favorite characters on The Walking Dead, or one of their favorite characters, and that would be Jerry. It's possible Jerry dies. I'm going to say the likelihood isn't very high. I don't know how much further they can go with Jerry's character. With that said, I'll give him a 10% chance to die, although I don't think it's going to happen. And then, of course, you have Jerry's significant other. I don't know if they're officially married or had a ceremony, but Nabila. I don't think Nabila dies. We don't know a lot about Nabila. She hasn't had a lot of time on the show, but she's featured, but she doesn't do a lot. So, with that said, 0% chance. Next up, we have Aaron. Now, Aaron is interesting. He kind of plays the Rick Grimes role. He looks like Rick from the comic books. He has the same injuries that Rick has to a certain degree. And I really do think that Aaron will die in the final season of The Walking Dead. I don't want him to die, but you have to have some characters die to create buzz with the show. With that said, Aaron, I'm going to give him a 100% chance to die. Hope he doesn't, but it just seems like, where is Aaron going to go after the final season of The Walking Dead show? Is he going to go to the Rick Grimes movies? Is he going to go to the Carol and Daryl spinoff? I think only Carol and Daryl will be in that particular show, but I don't know. It could happen, but I'm going to say that Aaron is a 100% chance to die, and I hope I'm wrong. Next up, we have Magna. Magna in the comic books was a lot more important. It seems like her role in the show since season 10 began has gotten lesser and lesser, and I think somehow, some way, Magna almost caused Connie to die in that cave. So with that said, with them kind of portraying Magna possibly as a villainess at some points, I think Magna will die 100%. I do like Magna's character, but they tried to make her more of a villain in season 10. Not a much more, but it just seemed like they put less of focus on her. So with that said, I think 100% chance that Magna does die. I would say she dies. Out of all the main characters that I think will die, she's the one I'm most confident about. I hope I'm wrong, but everything points to Magna not surviving. Next up, we have Connie. Connie we thought was gonna die, but she didn't. And then there's the whole cave thing. I think there's a chance that Connie will die. I don't think it's a very high chance. With that said, I'm gonna say that there is a 10% chance that Connie dies, but I don't think the likelihood of it happening is very high. Kelly, Kelly was pointless in season 9, and then season 10, she gradually got more important as the season went on, and her maybe having a relationship with Elijah at some point, possibly. I think with all that said, and the fact that she hasn't been on the show long enough, I think Connie is now a 0% chance to die, and before I had her a 100% chance. Although, I think there is a possibility that Connie would die. Or not Connie, I'm sorry, Kelly. But I'm going to say the likelihood of it is very low. Low enough where I'm just going to say 0. Of course, I'll do another death predictions video once we have our break during season 11. And that opinion may change. Luke. I actually like Luke's character. He's funny. He does a good job of making the right line at the right time. I don't think Luke is really going to die, although I could see it happening. I think the likelihood is going to be low, but I'm going to put Luke at 10% chance to die, just due to the fact that it's the final season of The Walking Dead, and we've already thought he was going to die in season 9 and season 10. We thought he was going to be a Pike victim in season 9. We thought he was going to die in the Whisper War in season 10. I mean, everything points to Luke dying at some point, but I'm going to say 10% chance. Jules. Jules is Luke's girlfriend. That's a member of the Oceanside. We don't know a lot about Jules. There was talk that she may be a member of the Whisperers, kind of blending in. I don't think that's going to be the case, obviously, now with them ending the Whisper story arc. With that said, I think there's a big percentage chance that Jules will die, so I'm going to say 50% chance for her character, just because we need something to impact Luke, possibly. I'm not sure which way they're going to go with that one, so I'm going to say 50%. I don't think will happen, but it could happen. Alden. Alden is my other character that I think will most likely die in season 11 of The Walking Dead. In fact, I hate to say it because I liked Alden's character initially, but where do you go with him? I thought he was going to be the love interest for Maggie. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I think that's going to be Cole. And if that's the case, where does Alden go? He doesn't really have anybody. Him and Luke are tight, but other than that, I don't know. So Alden, I'm going to give a 100% chance to die. And like Magna, Alden is one of my, I think for sure that character is going to die. I hope that's not the case, though. Because I do like Alden, except when he got a little bitchy about Enid's death. But, I mean, what's he supposed to do? Pretend like it didn't happen? Carol. 0% chance. Carol is doing fine. Daryl. Daryl and Carol are supposed to have a spin-off show. Maybe that's some misdirection. Maybe the spin-off show is going to be a flashback to the time skip time. I don't know. It doesn't seem like either of them would die, but if I had to pick somebody, I'm going to give Daryl a 5% chance to die, although I don't think it'll happen. But this whole, them announcing that they have a spin-off show really early, kind of is confusing to me. Like, why would they announce that? So I'm going to give Daryl a 5% chance to die, and if he does die, it will be in the finale of the series, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then last but not least, my favorite character on The Walking Dead, Negan. Negan, I hope Negan makes it through the whole series. I hope Negan has a spin-off show. With that said, there is a strong possibility that Negan will die. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to give Negan a 5% chance to die. Hope it doesn't happen. Don't want Negan to die. I don't want him to be the last death in The Walking Dead. I like Negan's character too much. He's done so many good things. He's done some bad things too, but they've built a very good and compelling redemption arc for Negan. And the Here's Negan episode was amazing. Jeffrey Dean Morgan gives a brilliant performance as Negan in The Walking Dead. Although initially I would have preferred John Hamm to play Negan, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan has killed it. And I don't think his character will die. Although I would give it like I said, a 5% chance. Just because you never know. But Negan better not die. Otherwise I'll be mad. So there you have it. There are my predictions for The Walking Dead Season 11. The finale, or the final season of The Walking Dead. So, your turn to give me your predictions. You don't have to go through every character, but give me your top 5 potential character deaths in the comments section. And remember, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you love this series and are very sad to see it end, go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget to share the video with anybody else that would be interested in this. And of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special, and JDev will return.